This is my Core Essentials EDC belt, and I have been using this ratchet style belt for 4 years. This exact belt I've had for 4 years, and it has a hardened insert in here. Is designed, as you can tell, to be kind of a business casual type belt, to blend and all that sort of stuff. What we're looking at here today is the new offering from Core, and this is I have not done my homework. I don't know what it's called, but this is a ruggedized version of the belt, more tactical-esque, if you will. We have a new buckle design, really robust. It's got kind of a powder coat finish on it. So you cut this belt yourself, actually, to your particular size. They come way oversized. But if you look at the old belt, the band has the measurement written on the inside. These ones are embossed. It's labeled as an optional item, but this is a belt hanger. So we always have problems, or at least I always have problems with my business belts because they're kind of wiry. This ratchets right in there, so you could imagine the belt hanging straight down from that loop right like that, just like it works with the belt itself. Quick lay of the land, nylon exterior, and it might even be real leather interior, but between them is a polymer insert that keeps the belt nice and rigid so that you can't flex it, and it will hold up your equipment. And then that terminates in this ratchet here on the back side, and that interfaces with the buckle, and when it starts to engage, you can hear it. Okay, and then let's say you need to sit down for a long period of time, take the belt off, or maybe you just had too much Mexican, and push that button right there, and it'll give you a 1/4 inch adjustment each time. We have a generous amount of belt, you can see, so you don't have to worry about this being too narrow for you, that's for sure. But I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this real quick. We're gonna go from here. We're gonna say that we're gonna cut that belt right at the 46 line. And here we go. We're just gonna see how easy this thing is to cut. So I actually forgot to add the length of the buckle, so we're going to go ahead and take an extra 2 off here. Yeah, this actually isn't even all that bad. Application of the buckle. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teeth. Slide that right in there. And then we're just going to, and that was really easy. Yeah, that actually looks pretty sharp. For science, I mutilated my other belt here, and I want you guys to see how much harder the original design was. So here we have a look inside the belt. We have the leather layer, the stiffener layer, and then the nylon layer. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and skinned one back for you guys, so that you guys can see inside a little bit better. And you can see that this is this looks to be some kind of pour, like some kind of resin that they put in here, instead of what was going in there was literally this black polymer insert. It's a piece of laminated polymer you can see in there. This is from the original belt that I had. So this is literally the 5-year-old belt versus the one that was made last week. So if we compare the two product offerings side by side, this one, the several-year-old belt, and this one, the new belt, then this one is easier to install the buckle. It's easier to cut with just a small little knife. But the other thing I want to point out is if you look at somebody who's got a traditional nylon laminated belt with a polymer insert to increase that rigidity, if you have a firearm carried inside the waistband against it, a lot of times you create a pressure point, and then the belt wants to flex to distribute that pressure. And what ends up happening is instead of having a print that is localized, you have a print that is much more spread out. However, it is overall dimensionally larger than it would have been if you had been using something like a leather belt. So this belt is very flexible in this dimension, as in fairly form-fitting. I don't think that you're going to have that issue with this belt in that way. However, it still maintains that rigidity in this plane, so that it's going to hold your gun up without sagging. All right, guys, so one of the things that I wanted to point out is, for me, I carry weak side appendix, which is a little bit weird, I understand, but I wanted to show you guys something. Usually, if I'm just wearing a belt like this in day-to-day, it's going to be justified right there in the center. It's going to be centered. But if I want to carry, I don't want this stacked on top of my holster, because that's going to give me an extra inch or so. Well, if I need to do this, my wife needs me to go to the store right now, I need to put my gun on or something like that, it's a lot easier to not have to take the damn belt off. And the way that they've built this buckle is so that it works with standard size loops. Not only is the band designed for standard size loops, these are American Eagle stretch fits. Video not sponsored by American Eagle. I can get through a standard loop, go ahead and get that in there right like that, justify it to the side, so now I just have a blank band there in front. Even though this is what I would call a Glock 19 size gun, we have a minimal footprint. Now, we talked earlier about how that belt gathers, and it doesn't distribute all the way across the breadth of the body here. It's just localized to, you can see right here, basically where the holster starts a little bit, and then there. It does not create a big bulge all the way around. I better not miss at this distance. Give me a fight. Fight. Did not lock back on the last round, but that ammo needed changed out anyway. And for anybody who's wondering, this is the Canik TP9 Elite. So this is not the super small one. Full video out on this, as well as I think the small one is coming soon. The subcompact is coming soon. That's inside the waistband. Now we've got outside the waistband, and this is actually a borrowed gun. This is a SIG 320 with a light on it. It's a little bit heavier, but I have a paddle holster here, which is actually counterintuitive. Paddle holsters make it worse for stress on the belt. You would think that it would distribute the weight of the gun onto your hip because of the paddle, but actually what it does is it just creates a really slick surface that runs against your underwear. So I suppose if I was going commando, this would probably be okay, but you can see here that this does not cause the belt to sag. So let's try it. Fight.
SWAT Jesus for you.
Got a little bit sloppy there at the end, but hey, what are you gonna do? I actually kind of like the way that you've got this thing set up. That TLR7 adds just a little bit of weight, drags it down, although the thing is filthy on the end. You have to see this. Well guys, that is our look at the brand spanking new Core Essentials belt. So whether you're looking for something that is super uber tactical, like this, or if you're looking for something that's more business casual, which is actually what I prefer, there is an option to have that carry belt that has the support capabilities as well as the retention capabilities for your holster. So a lot of people out there will buy something from Walmart and that is just insufficient. You need a solid belt to mount your holster on top of, and I would say that the most important piece of gear that you own as a gun owner would be your belt first, and then a quality holster, and then the firearm. I know that the firearm is the important part, that's the actual tool, but to be able to carry it effectively and consistently, it has to be comfortable, as well as not becoming a nuisance to you. And I think that the Core belt does a really good job of doing that. There are multiple videos out there from us on the Core Essentials belts. I will have them linked in the description box down below so you guys can see the evolution of the product over time. It has been a privilege of mine to be along for the ride as the product line has matured. So definitely give them a look. Core Essentials. If we can link, we will have links down in the description box down below. But thank you guys for joining us here today on the VSO Gun Channel, and hopefully we'll see you guys on a future video. Can you run and gun with a lever gun? I know that people have done it in the past, but I prefer semi-automatics. Well, we're gonna find out here today, because a lot of people put a lot of stock in that side loading port, such to the point that Henry altered their most recent design to include not only the tube loading port here, but also that side loading port.